While I heartily disapprove of the sexual characteristics of the TX in Terminator 3, I also think that much of her design is pretty cool. In comparison to the other Terminator models, the TX has far improved in several ways. Many of her facets are innovative evolutions of concepts previously employed, while others are whole new tricks that further her capacity for termination. Our first view of the Terminators was of the T-101 in The Terminator. The T-101 is the first Terminator model successfully able to pass as human. It is a cybernetic organism, living tissue over a sturdy metal endoskeleton. The Terminator can withstand numerous direct shots from contemporary 1980s weaponry, and is able to repair itself. The T-101's flesh is capable of healing itself over time, but a damaged eye needs to be removed entirely to allow the T-101 to properly see. It is likely that a new eye could not be naturally regenerated, prompting it to wear dark sunglasses to cover its luminous red eye rendered visible by the removal of the human eye. Eventually, the T-101 suffers continued burning that destroys the flesh entirely, and forces it to move unclothed by its human guise. It meets its end when Sarah smashes its head underneath a hydraulic press in a Cyberdyne factory. In Terminator 2, the Terminator antagonist got a big overhaul. The T-1000 is a sapient mass of liquid metal that can morph into human form. It can morph into specific individuals by acquiring their form after touching them, apparently using the same technology as the Andalites in the Animorph series. It can also form parts of its body into hard, solid pieces of metal to create knives and stabbing weapons. Its ability to pass as human is remarkable, and can infiltrate human organizations easily. It's able to adapt to changing social conditions without the awkward lack of comprehension obvious in the T-101 models. In other words, it can pass the Turing test. The T-1000's lack of true living tissue allows it to pass for human far longer than the T-101. When the T-1000 is shot, instead of a bullet wound, a crater is formed in the mass of liquid. In short time, the T-1000 is able to move itself back into place and resume its illusion without even the mess of bullet holes left in clothing. However, it lacks the stability of the T-101 and suffers greater response to the kinetic force of bullet impact, slowing it down considerably. It survives being frozen and shattered by a torrent of liquid nitrogen, but at the cost of being able to control its ability to transform at will, rendering it unable to pass completely. It meets its end by being blown out of shape and then knocked into a pool of molten steel. As the T-101 in Terminator 3 describes,
TX is designed to terminate other cybernetic organisms,
presumably those captured and reprogrammed by the human resistance. This requires her to be incredibly powerful. The TX shares the best of both previous models. It has a strong metal endoskeleton similar to that of the T-101, but instead of living tissue, it has a coat of the liquid used by the T-1000. Its endoskeleton is not as firmly cemented and can shift around to suit its needs. And while unable to assume every shape as with the T-1000, it can take any human form of similar build. When the TX is shot, it is able to hold its ground. The skeleton offers stability and protection, while its liquid layer can repair itself within seconds. The TX also has its brand new tricks. Without small arms, the T-101 has only its massive strength, and the T-1000 its morphed metal. However, the TX comes with a large assortment of weapons stashed inside its arm like a Swiss Army knife. A plasma rifle, a flamethrower, a buzzsaw, a nanobot packing drill, and other tools of destruction can come out of its arm like a transformer. Another similarity shared with the Transformers would be the apparent magical appearance and disappearance of certain parts during the transformation sequences, but I digress. Despite being built as an anti-Terminator, the TX is also perfectly adept at infiltration of human society and termination of specific human individuals. It is equipped with excellent knowledge of human psychology and social conventions, allowing it to slip undetected through human society. To aid in its ability to seek out targets, it can analyze DNA from a blood sample, enabling it to detect identities from blood alone. The TX can also access the internet through cell phones. Its arguably most nifty trick is its ability to control other machines. Using a needle-like titanium drill, the TX can access the computers that govern machines, and it sends nanobots inside, which hack into the system and take it over. Its zombies can be everything from cars to T1 Terminators to T101 Terminators, making the TX especially deadly in that half the time it doesn't even need to be in the same room as its targets. In addition to its enhanced fighting abilities, the TX has also undergone some aesthetic modifications from the previous Terminator models. The T101 endoskeleton featured a head that looked very similar to a human skull, albeit with shining metal teeth and demonic glowing red eyes that offered a surreal creepiness. The TX, on the other hand, has a very inhuman head comparable more, in my opinion, to a cat or a grey than a female human. This Terminator's aesthetic creepiness derives from its known power and its otherness, rather than its imitation of human form. Its eyes, which glow and perceive the color blue rather than red, imply the TX's enhanced power, in that red lighting is generally a thing of the past.
Hello, Dave.
While blue represents the newer and better machinery. I'm not really sure the reason for this, but I have noticed it. Despite the numerous gratuitous sexual characteristics I dislike about the TX, I find its new design to be effective and demonstrative of enhancement upon previous models. I believe an early version of the antagonist of Terminator 3 had it as a gaseous entity, essentially just moving on to another state of matter after the solid T101 and liquid T1000. The ultimate version of the TX I find to be more grounded in reality by having it exist as an evolution of the previous models, sharing the best characteristics of both. If they had only stuck to the seriousness of the subject and not let it degrade into the TX getting bustier in order to flirt its way out of a ticket, I feel the movie could be far improved from what it turned out to be.